Hi there, I want you to meet my pet hedgehog named Sonic. So Sonic is a hedgehog and not a porcupine. And the difference is, with porcupines, they have quills that will come out as their protection. But a hedgehog will curl up in a ball. He's not real scared of me, but he'll curl up in a ball, and his spines will get real prickly so that he can protect himself from predators. I just wanted you to meet Sonic because I'm going to read to you today a story called Apple Trouble. Hi, today I'm going to read a story called Apple Trouble. It's written by Ragnhild Skammel and Michael Terry, and it's published by Scholastic. And I just want to thank Scholastic because they've given teachers permission during the coronavirus school closures for us to read their books if we give them credit. So thank you, Scholastic. As I read the story today, I want you to listen for 3 words that I've chosen for us to work on to use in everyday language. The first word is heave. Let's say that, heave. Okay. The next word is gaze. Say that again, gaze. And our last word is crumple. Crumple. Now, if I were in your classroom, when you hear me read those words in the story, you would give me a thumbs up. I can't see you, of course, online, but you can show your parents when you are being a good listener and you hear those words in the story. Hedgehog had just finished building her winter nest under the old apple tree. Not too large and not too small, just right for a nice long winter sleep. Suddenly, a juicy red apple landed on her back. Plop! Ouch! Squeaked Hedgehog. She curled into a spiny ball, hoping it would fall off. But when she uncurled, the juicy red apple was still there. Hedgehog tried to squeeze herself and the apple into the beautiful new nest. But could she get in? No, she could not. Not with the apple on her back. The nest was too small. Oh dear. Squirrel, scurrying past with an armful of brown nuts, stopped to help. Stand still, I'll push the apple off, he said. And he pushed, and he struggled, and he heaved, and he tugged. Did you hear that word, heave? So we heard the word heave. Heave means to lift or throw. Okay, I want you to think about how that makes sense. What was the squirrel trying to lift or throw? But the juicy red apple stayed where it was. Worse still, 3 of Squirrel's brown nuts got caught in Hedgehog's spines. So now she had a juicy red apple and 3 brown nuts on her back. Oh dear, wailed Hedgehog. Winter is coming and I can't get into my nest. What will I do? Try rolling on your back, snorted Pig, trotting up. That'll get rid of it all. Hedgehog threw herself on the ground. Her little legs paddled in the air as she twisted and wriggled and rolled. Has it all gone? She asked hopefully, scrambling to her feet. Pig shook his head no. The juicy red apple and the 3 brown nuts were still there. So were a small green pear and a crumpled brown leaf. Oh dear, sighed Hedgehog, rolling her eyes. But up in the sky, sailing towards Hedgehog, she saw a colorful piece of paper. Oh no, she cried. This way and that she ran as fast as she could. This way and that drifted the paper. Crumple. It means to crush out of shape. I want you to think about the brown crumpled leaf, why it would be crushed out of shape. and landed right on her back, between the apple and the 3 brown nuts. "It's not fair," cried Hedgehog, who now had a juicy red apple, 3 brown nuts, a small green pear, a crumpled brown leaf, and a colorful piece of paper on her back. "I'll never get into my nest." Hedgehog pattered to the pond and gazed at her reflection in the water. "Hello, Hedgehog, that's a lot of stuff on your back," croaked the frog. "Ribbit!" "I'm trying to get rid of it," sniffed Hedgehog. "Dive," said Frog, "that'll wash it off." Hedgehog dipped a foot in the murky water, then dived. Gaze, to look at for a time. Think about when Hedgehog was gazing at her reflection. Splash! Her friends watched Hedgehog bobbing up and down. The juicy red apple, the 3 brown nuts, the small green pear, the crumpled brown leaf, and the colorful piece of paper were all still there. So was a pink water lily. "Glug, glug, glug," gurgled Hedgehog as the others heaved her out of the water. She did look funny. But Hedgehog did not find it funny. "Stop laughing," she spluttered and stamped her feet on the ground. "Where am I going to sleep?" Pig and Squirrel looked worried. So did Frog. "I do have one last idea," oinked Pig. "Squeeze through that hedge over there. That'll brush everything off." So Hedgehog closed her eyes and squeezed herself through the thick leaves. But did it get everything off her back? No, it did not. It was all still there. So were 4 ripe blackberries. And there, staring at her with a look of great surprise, stood Goat. "Ooh," cried Goat, "you brought lunch." "Bah! Help yourself," said Hedgehog. "Take it all." "Yippee," brayed Goat. "Bah!" Then he picked off and ate the juicy red apple, the 3 brown nuts, the small green pear, the pink water lily, and the 4 ripe blackberries. For dessert, he ate the paper. The only thing he left was the crumpled brown leaf. He just couldn't eat any more. "Hurrah!" cried Hedgehog. She felt as light as a feather. "Thank you, Goat," she said. Then she ran as fast as her little legs could carry her, through the gate, past the pond, across the orchard, under the tree, and home to her nest. Hedgehog squeezed into her little nest. It fitted her perfectly, and it was the best nest ever. Outside, a cold wind blew another apple off the tree. But it didn't fall on Hedgehog. She was safe in her nest and fast asleep. All right, so now using our 3 words, heave, crumpled, and gaze, we're going to talk to the people in your home, and that'll be your turn and talk partner. Normally in the classroom, we would turn to our classmates and we would think of a sentence we can use, but we're gonna have to use our family since we're learning at home. So the first word is heave, and we learned that it means to lift or throw. Here's an example I give. I will heave the suitcase onto the bus, okay? Now I want you to think of a sentence of your own that you could use the word heave. So think of something that's hard to move or heavy that you could lift or throw. So think for just a minute. Now I want you to share your sentence using the word heave with your parents. Our next word is crumple. Remember, that means to crush out of shape. I use the example of, I crumple my soda can before I put it in the trash. Now I want you to think to yourself for a moment on how you can use the word crumple in a sentence. Now turn to a family member and use crumple in a sentence. Our last word is gaze, and that means to look at for a time. My example is, I gaze at the painting, trying to figure out what the painter created. Gaze. I want you to take a moment to think of how you can use gaze to look at for a time in a sentence of your own. Now turn to your family and use gaze in a sentence. I hope you enjoyed the story today and you learned some words that you can use in your everyday conversations. Whether you're a student at Pleasant Grove Elementary in Alabama, or in Barstow, California, or Macon, Missouri, or Galesburg, Illinois, or Keller, Texas, or anywhere, we're all in this together. If you respond to this post with a sentence using one of the words you learned today, I'll respond back to you. Bye!